Hello and welcome to Joy News at 6. The news is live on Joy 99.7 and hits 103.9 FM in Accra, in Kumasi on Love 99.5 FM and over 30 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions, including Shine FM, Akachi Radio Max Takrade and Ridge in Tamale. Get radio, TV and online content on the myjoyonline.com interactive app for Android and iOS devices. Coming up, healthcare delivery in the Upper West region set to suffer as NETCO disconnects power to the regional hospital due to over 20 million cedis unpaid bills.
If they are able to issue a check, then we'll definitely come back to reconnect the facility.
Center for Democratic Development demands a review of community mining initiative as it insists the scheme has become a cover for Galamsey.
Certainly the government cannot investigate itself. If it's a committee we have to set up, if it's whatever we have to set up, we need to find a solution to this.
In business,
Institute of Economic Affairs questions government's unwillingness to focus on fiscal adjustments proposed by the International Monetary Fund as Ghana struggles to bring its debt to a sustainable level. Details on the Joy Business Report.
And today on election headquarters, who wins the Adentan seat as former Gender Minister Nana Oyebampo battles it out with the incumbent MP in the upcoming NDC primaries.
We are poised to make sure we put everybody on a level playing ground so that, whoever wins, there wouldn't be any issue.
And much later in the bulletin, musician Kiddy is back after taking nearly a 2-month break to take care of his health.
If I show you my liver, you go take me to prayer. Don't wait till
We'll tell you more shortly. I am Maame Esi Thompson. Thanks for choosing us. The Volta River Authority's Northern Electricity Distribution Company, NETCO, has disconnected power to the Upper West Regional Hospital over 20 million Ghana cedi debt. The disconnection has brought all operations at the hospital to a standstill, leaving patients stranded. First, listen to the hospital director, Dr. Robert Amisi, pleading with officials of NETCO.
The issue is that we have patients in the wards, we have bodies in the mortuary. We cannot prevent you from disconnecting them, but it will be a whole confusion. Everything here depends on electricity. Even the OPD, because it's paperless. If there's no power, you can't attend to anybody. So I'm pleading if you will give us time to follow up.
You heard Upper West Regional Hospital Director Dr. Robert Amisi. Now, Upper West Area Manager VRA NETCO Engineer Francis Yameso says they were left with no option after the hospital failed to settle at least 30% of the debt.
Per our agreement, you are supposed to pay 75%. Looking at the critical nature of the facility, we are asking them to pay at least 30% of the total amount, that is 20 million Ghana cedis. And currently they are telling us that they don't have anything in their coffers to even give out anything. So from now, we are going to engage them. If they are able to issue a check, then we'll definitely come back to reconnect the facility.
And that was Upper West Area Manager for VRA NETCO Engineer Francis Yameso. The Center for Democratic Development is calling for a review of the Community Mining Initiative. The initiative was introduced as a measure to provide jobs for unemployed youth in mining communities who are empowered to engage in responsible small-scale mining. But Director of Advocacy and Policy Engagement at the CDD, Dr. Kojo Asante, says the initiative has become a cover for illegal mining.
We need to find a solution to this, but make sure that we identify who is continuing to do this thing, And this whole community mining thing it's just become a real ruse to basically do Galamsey again. So even that program has to be investigated. We have to review that whole program. We are talking about life and death situations for many people and for our country.
The Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners say regulations governing community mining must be enforced. Francis Opoku is financial director.
It was abused, but at the point, the abuse was so much to the extent that it became an eyesore. So Mineral Commission have to step in and then Minister also at the point, they all came in and said, look, we can't allow these things to continue. Mineral Commission, community mining, the laws governing community mining is not different from the laws and then the framework governing small-scale mining. They are basically the same.
Moving on, Deputy Ranking Member on Parliament's Communications Committee, Sam Nete George, has challenged the National Communications Authority over its threat to deactivate unregistered SIM cards. The NCA had given owners of these cards a month grace period to properly register them or risk deactivation. Here's Director General of the National Communications Authority, Joe Anoche.
As mentioned earlier, we have 11 million SIMs which are yet to begin the registration process. So listen to this. The subscriber of these unregistered active SIMs have up to 31st May 2023 to complete their SIM registration or have their SIMs deactivated, delinked from the network. Subscribers who do not genuinely have Ghana cards will have to prove that they do not have Ghana cards to prevent SIMs being deactivated.
However, Sam Nate George has called the bluff of the NCA. He says there are many who, by no fault of theirs, don't have the primary registration document, the Ghana card, and hence cannot be deactivated.
People who have not got a Ghana card at all, and the NIA officers, we don't have cards and we cannot take registration, or we are dealing with backlog. How do you punish them?
You're one of those?
Absolutely.
So you're one of those, possibly part of the 11 million that will get delinked.
That is wishful thinking of the NCA, to think that they can just wake up and punish people for the inability of the NIA to complete its job.
Sam George is Deputy Ranking Member on Parliament's Communications Committee. Now, President Akufo-Addo says Ghana remains resolute in its position against Russian invasion of Ukraine. According to him, Ghana was, as a founding member of the non-aligned movement, had consistently resisted the idea that the big powers have the freedom to do what they like on the planet. He said Ghana had never accepted that principle, whether it is the Americans, Russians, or any other country. At a joint news conference with a visiting Austrian Prime Minister to Ghana, the president said Ghana would stand up against any aggressor seeking to use its power to eliminate the existence of any country.
Our history, which has always been against great power domination of the affairs of the world. It is this same principle that led us to vote in the United Nations General Assembly in favor of the motion condemning the Russian invasion of Ukraine. And it is a position that we will continue to hold.
And that was President Akufo-Addo. Now to election headquarters. Incumbent MP for Adentan constituency in the Greater Accra region, Mohammed Ramadan Adamu, is facing a fierce contest from two other aspirants, including former Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Nana Oyebampo Addo, in the upcoming NDC parliamentary primary slated for May 13. Samuel Imbura from our political desk has more on this constituency as we build up to the May 13 primaries.
Incumbent MP for Adenta constituency, Mohammed Adamu Ramadan, has already declared himself a winner of the primaries and goes further to pledge his support for John Mahamad's candidature.
Let us all listen to what the scripture says. The scripture tells us that I and my father are one.
But he's facing a stiff contest from former Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Nana Oyebampo, and Linda Asibiawuni, an engineer by profession and a first-time contender, according to Nana Oyebampo, who is contesting the primaries for the second time after losing to incumbent in the 2019 primaries. She has the integrity and vast experience to lead the NDC.
Nana Oye is honest and has the integrity and has worked, has a vast experience. I'm here to procure jobs for the youth in Adenta.
On her part, Linda Asibiawuni believes responses from the delegates have been positive.
Our message has been well received. I believe that what we are selling to the people is a campaign of action and not promises. So it's something that the delegates of Adenta have been well pleased in.
And that was a report by Samuel Imbura of the political desk. Now, the Senior Environmental Health Officer of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, Inspector Joseph Asitanga, is warning food operators without health certificates will face prosecution. This was after he made a surprise visit to some selected restaurants at Rollins Park here in Accra. My colleague Prince Oswansa was with the team and has come through with this report.
Our purpose of visit here today is to see how you prepare your food handling, storage, the general environment of your restaurant.
This was a follow-up visit to restaurant the health and sanitation team had previously visited.
Every time we visit a restaurant, all the findings that we come across, whether defects, whether good, whatever findings we come across, we make recommendations to the proprietor.
One of the restaurants they visited was lauded for its adherence to the AMA health and sanitation regulations.
So maintain the standards that you put up here.
Senior Environmental Officer Inspector Joseph Asitanga issued a stern warning to food operators without health certificate.
Whatever product that you are producing that is consumable must reach out to AMA and undergo this screening and test to obtain the certificate, or else if we come to your food industry, whatever type of food that you are preparing, provided it is consumable product and you don't have this card, we will match you to our law court and prosecute you accordingly.
And to some showbiz now.
If I tell you say I'm okay, I lied. Everything I feel in my heart.
After nearly 2-month break off the music scene to take care of his health, musician Kiddy is back with a new song titled I Lied. In what music lovers believe to be a summary of his health challenges, the musician makes strong case for showing affection to people while they are alive because they may be battling health complications we may not be aware of. Listen.
If I show you my liver, you go take me to prayer. Don't wait till I'm under 6 feet, I'm gone and I go tell you he was strong.
And that's all for the bulletin. And you heard in our top story, healthcare delivery in the Upper West region set to suffer as NEDCO disconnects power to the regional hospital over 20 million cedis unpaid bills. I am Maame Esi Thompson. Business is up next.